listeners, and welcome back to Dragon's Greed Gaming. It is I, your host, the Great Unclean One. Wanted to welcome you to the show and just take a moment here to remind you, be sure you stop by our Facebook page and follow us there for all the latest news on the channel and our ever-growing amount of shows. If you can, we appreciate if you can stop by iTunes and Apple Podcast, give us a 5-star review, help us grow the channel, and help us get out in front of more people as we continue to expand. Also, be sure you stop by our YouTube channel. We've finally got some real video content we're starting to produce, and be sure you subscribe and hit that little bell to get all notifications when we have new episodes coming out. We're still putting out all of our actual play series, but we've got real video series coming out as well, with more planned for the future. And finally, if you're a big fan of the show, if you want to help support us a little bit more, consider joining our Patreon, Dragon's Greed Gaming. We have a couple different tiers you can check out. Get yourself access to early access to our weekly episodes, monthly artwork from Kyle, get your name up on our Wall of Heroes wall, or check out our Patreon-only exclusive actual play series that we do once a month, a Warhammer Fantasy actual play series called Tales from the Old World. Something there for everybody, and for a couple bucks, toss a couple coins in the Dragon's Hoard and help us out. But however you choose to support us, we appreciate, even if you're just listening, first-time listeners, new listeners, or old veterans, old raving fans. We appreciate each and every one of you guys, and hope you enjoy tonight's show. Thanks so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us here on episode 2 of Blade Runner Electric Dreams. As always, I am your host, the Great Unclean One. Welcome back. Glad to have you all. I'm going to be continuing to guide things from behind the GM screen here for our players as we continue our investigation into the murder of the replicant Blade Runner Sandor and his missing RDU partner, Leah. That's it, Leah. Before we get into that, though, let's hear from our players. Tell us who you are, who you're playing, and anything else you'd like to share with the listeners. Whoever wants to go first, have at it.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm playing Violet, or Doxy. And yeah, I'm pumped for session 2 here.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm playing Garrick Johnson, the city speaker. And yeah, pretty excited to keep playing Blade Runner.
I'm Matt Froggett, and I'm playing Hector, the team's replicant fixer.
And I'm Kyle. I am playing Inspector Silent Holback. Happy to be here.
And happy to have all of you and all of our listeners as well. Quick few notes here. Listeners, players, we had them get some of their promotion and humanity points from last session. We're going to do that stuff off camera to kind of keep the crunch out of this. And we're going to keep our recaps to a minimum here, as we kind of did that outside the game. If you really want to know what happened, just go and listen to the first episode. But suffice to say, you guys were called in by Deputy Chief Holden to investigate the murder of this Blade Runner replicant Sandor and the disappearance of his partner from the Snake Pit, where this all went down. We've gone through about a shift and a half worth of activity so far. You guys have found a variety of clues and leads to follow up on. We've had Garrick and Violet kind of team up as partners to go take care of what they've been investigating, while Silas and Hector kind of split off to do their own things. So we're going to pick back up. Silas, you are returning to the LAPD tower and your spinner as we get through midday here. It's kind of the afternoon shift as you land on the tower and begin to make your way downstairs to meet up with Hector, who has been working furiously at the mainframe and the Esper wall, trying to get more information on some of the leads you guys have, or as you guys have brought him more leads, he's looked into those, and he's also uploaded some of that information to the mainframe for you guys. So we will pick up as you meet up with Hector as he is leaving the Esper wall, and I believe you're going to hand off some information to him, so we can start right there.
So Silas, I heard you found a lot at the apartment.
Yeah, I found this, the bedside photo.
It's of, it seems Leah, but young?
It's odd. So it must have been me. And that's what Doc Badger does, I think. Other than on that pawn shop. But yeah, they had poems, specific what attire. It's all very odd. Have you found anything out about anything through the portal?
Nothing terribly useful other than the ID on the Metro cab. We could follow up there, but I'm personally very interested in perhaps speaking to this Doc Badger.
Yeah, I figured you'd go. I need to take a look at this body. We've had it on ice for a little bit, so I'll head down to the morgue. Why don't you take care of that?
Sounds good. I have a copy of the photo. Did you have any particular plans for the physical?
I was gonna enter it into evidence, see if they can uncover anything we can't.
Sounds good. I can head out then. Let me know if you find anything.
Will do.
All right, so Hector, you head off to the garage to get a spinner, leaving Inspector Silas here. Silas, you make your way down to the crime lab, which acts as a variety of things here in the LAPD. It's the morgue, it's a forensic lab, and everything in between. Now, you know, all of you know, that the crime lab is headed up by the chief medical examiner, Coco, and him and his staff seem to pretty much almost always be here. They are workaholics to the extreme, and they always seem to be hanging out, taking care of cases, and they can get a lot of information for you guys. They can get a lot of things done. I'm going to share Coco's photo with you guys. He actually is a character in 2049, so you may recognize him. He is a completely bald and clean-shaven man with a very, very short buzz cut, kind of dark eyebrows, and he always looks a little greasy or sweaty, I guess is the best way to explain it. He does seem a little odd, like he might not have the best social skills, and he's more at home working here in the lab, but he usually is rather energetic with helping, and if you don't make any outlandish requests, he's usually fairly professional in things. Suffice to say, the crime lab is massive. You've got the morgue down here, which has many, many slabs and tables, lots of diagnostic and forensic equipment down here, and countless staff that you see milling about, taking care of things. It's quite cold in this section of the LAPD tower, as one would expect. And then when you get down here, you can see that Coco, he's got his typical white shirt with black tie on, and over that he's got his, for lack of a better term, kind of like his doctor's gown. It's kind of this brownish, silverish color. It almost looks like a raincoat So really all you see is his collar and the top part of the knot of his tie, and then this thing pretty much covers his whole upper body and hangs down to about his knees. You know, if he's doing any sort of autopsy or something like that that could get messy, keep his suit from getting messed up. And you can see that he's currently standing over a slab. There is a body on there, and he's taking some notes in a little notepad that he has, and he's typing some stuff into a terminal nearby.
Okay, Silas would walk in and take his fedora off and kind of hold it in his hands and walk up to Coco.
Ah, Inspector. So nice of you to join me.
Ah, good to see you. Is this our guy?
Oh, no, this is someone else. Let me just finish up here, and you hear him click a few more things into his terminal, and then eventually he finishes that up, and he says, no, Sandor is right over this way, if you'd want to follow me, please.
Sure thing.
All right. You follow him through a door or two into another morgue area, and you see that Sandor is on the table, an examination table, and he's there. He's covered up with a white sheet up to his basically his shoulder, so all you see right now is his face. And otherwise, the room has a very sterile, quiet, cold feeling. There's no one else in here right now. There's a single big bright light on the ceiling. It's kind of like a rectangular shaped light that just kind of emanates over the whole area, giving it a kind of a creepy, very fluorescent, pale white hue. He pulls the sheet back, revealing Sandor, who of course is naked underneath the sheet. He pulls it down to just below his belly button, keeps his lower half covered, and you can see immediately there's a fairly large hole right in his chest. And yeah, Coco kind of gives a sigh when he sees that. It's a terrible shame, really.
Wow. Are we thinking, blaster?
Well, it's definitely a firearm. He was shot point blank with a large caliber weapon. Bullet went right through his chest, and well, no one's brought it back, so it's got to be somewhere at the crime scene, I would assume, unless someone's already found it. But could be. But I need the fragment to examine to be for certain.
But point blank.
Yep.
Is there anything else, like maybe on his face, or
if you want to give me a medical aid roll, you can. And obviously, okay. Coco will answer any questions you have, but if you want to kind of examine for yourself, give me a medical aid roll.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot. Ooh.
Starting off strong.
I will go ahead and push that. Oh. Huh.
All right. So,
not really strong.
So you pushed. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if you realize this. Remember, when you push, if you already had a 1, you don't get to re-roll those. So, even though the game showed it re-rolling, you don't actually roll. That's why it came up again, because it stays as a 1 if you already have a 1. So you fail the push, and because you have a 1 here, you're going to suffer a point of stress damage, point of resolve damage, because this was an intelligence or an empathy test. So you lose a point of resolve.
Yeah, so maybe Silas is kind of taken aback by, even if it's a replicant, a fellow officer getting shot in the chest.
I think that's fair, and the implication that it could be a blaster. I think the other two have shared the information with you that they found ammunition, and it appears to be caseless, which would point towards a blaster. You don't know for sure yet, but yeah, maybe you think about that and wonder what the implications could be, so that shakes you up a little bit. Everything okay, Inspector?
Yeah, yeah. It's what else can you tell me that you might have found?
Well, there's not much, to be honest, other than the distance of the shot. The only other thing I could really say for sure, based on the trajectory, is that the person who fired this was either shorter than Sandor or was perhaps at a lower position, maybe on the ground, but he would have had to have been bent over then for it to be such a close shot.
Okay, so
There's a slight incline, that very slight. I mean, we're talking a degree or two, but slight enough that it was pointed up. I suppose the gun could have been pointed up if they were really close, but if their arm was extended the full distance, then I would hazard they could be shorter. So, I guess I would say the shot is at an incline pointed up very slightly.
so Silas at this point would take his right hand and kind of make it in the shape of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Would go near chest to chest with Coco and kind of have his arm crooked as if he was like trying to suss it out himself.
Yeah, when he sees you do that, he's just like, it would be far too great of an angle if you were standing this close to me.
Hmm.
It's very subtle, and he kind of backs up, and as he does, he puts like his hands around your forearm to kind of like guide it and kind of like where the shot is. And like by the time he's done doing that, your arm is almost fully extended, and it's really hard for you to even tell that there's any angle. I mean, it's probably something so slight that maybe just the way someone's holding their gun, it could be that way. But
Okay. All right. Um,
I know it's not much, but that's all I've really been able to deduce so far.
was there anything on his person and his effects?
No, just his usual identification, badge, Kia, his wallet, some money. That's about it.
Hmm.
And I mean, he would probably have that in a evidence bag nearby, and he would, pull that out, and you could look at it.
Yeah, so yeah, if there's nothing unusual about it, then
Doesn't look like it, no.
yeah, they would have picked up on it. Uh, just an odd question, Coco. What do you know anything about any animals at all?
Of course I do. You know that. You've seen our mascot running around here now and then. And you know that he's referring to a cat by the name of Biscuits, which is an artificial cat that the story goes, you've been around here long enough, the story goes that Biscuits was brought in as evidence for a case, and somehow they got out of evidence, and no one's ever been able to catch this cat, and so now it's kind of made the crime lab its home. And she oftentimes is seen around Coco as if like she considers him her owner, but never lets you get close enough to pet or catch, You don't see her right now, but sometimes she's chilling and watching from somewhere, but you don't see her right now.
Okay. Yeah, I would. I think Silas would show him, if he could,
Yeah.
the butterflies. And is there any significance to butterflies? Maybe blue butterflies?
Where did you find these? They're good, but artificial, of course.
Yeah. These were at the apartment of Leah.
I have to say, I don't know her very well. I've only interacted with her a few times. But good taste, I would say.
Hmm.
I mean, there's plenty of stories and symbols, what they could mean or what they could be for. It could be something in her memories that, has to do with it. Could be just a personal preference, maybe something she saw in the street that she was interested in or caught her eye. Um, Hard to say. I've never seen or been privy to what her memories may be, so I couldn't tell you there if there's any connection. But these are definitely artificial. Probably came from Animoid Row, I would guess. I mean, they're not. This isn't anything illegal or anything under the counter, as they'd say. So I'm sure someone there probably makes or sells something like this.
Oh, good to know. Thanks, Coco.
Of course. Anything else I can do for you, Inspector?
Don't want to put my thumb on the metagame too much, but I wanted to ask, would it be standard operating procedure for somebody to go through his Kia Sandors?
Yeah, they probably did already.
Okay, just double
Yeah.
checking.
No, you're not missing, you're not missing anything there. If there was, Coco would have mentioned it. If there was anything significant.
Yeah, I think Silas would sigh and look down at Sandor one last time and then put on his fedora and go, "No, I think that's it, Coco. Thanks for everything."
Of course, as always. The only thing I guess I could add, well, it could mean much. I mean, being in this business, everything could be a clue, right? I do know that Sandor and Leah were. I'm gonna mess it up every time now. Sandor and Leah were looking into some supposed rogue replicant activity at the Snake Pit. I don't know if that was where they thought something was happening or where they were getting information from, but from what I read in some of Sandor's notes, that seems to be the reason why they had been there a couple times.
Good to know. All right,
Hope
you
it
have
helps.
a good day.
You too. Give my regards to the rest of the team.
I will.
All right. Meanwhile, we will shift on over to Hector, who's zooming around in his, well, not his, but a spinner. And you are heading over to find Doc Badger's pawn shop, correct? In Sector 5?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so you take some time to, it's not very far from the LAPD tower, so you don't have to go too far, but you do make your way down to this section of the city. And like many parts of it, there are massive towering buildings, and then there are rows and rows of shops, food vendors, kiosks, all sorts of things like that. And eventually, you do find the small shop that is Doc Badger's. Basically, you are walking, you have to land your spinner, you're walking down this street here, and you eventually get to an alleyway, and you can see down the alley there's a sign above the door sticking out the side of the building that's flashing, kind of flickering. It's probably damaged a little bit, not quite perfect, and it just says Docs on it, DOC''S, kind of a green flickering letters, and you can see that there's a door just beneath that sign.
All right. I want to take a quick look around, and assuming nothing stands out, just walk on through.
No, you see people milling about here and there, wandering the streets. It's not super busy, but it's not completely quiet either.
I'll just jump on in.
Okay, so you get to the door, and it's solid. It's got like a view slot that someone inside could look out to see who's there. And you try the door, and it is locked.
All right. I'll knock on it.
A couple of moments go by, and eventually the slit opens up, and you can see a figure in there. You're guessing it's Doc Badger. It's a black man, and you can see he's got that kind of weird like scar thing that goes across his bridge of his nose and just under his eyes. And but all you can really see are his eyes. And he's kind of looks past you, like both ways down the alley, and then he looks directly at you, and he goes, "What can I do for you?"
Hey, you the doc? A friend of mine said you might be able to help people kind of reconnect with their past.
Yeah, I've been known to do a ting like that. What's it to you?
Well, see, this friend had recommended you. Basically, for those of us who are maybe more human than human, having a tough time, we just need some help getting grounded, you know?
He kind of arches an eyebrow a little bit, listening intently.
If you could, like, pull something from our memories and into something more real that we could, connect to.
Says, "Oh yeah, sure." And he closes the slit. You hear the lock click, and the door slides open from left to right. And you see Doc Badger standing there. He's got kind of like a tattered, sleeveless shirt. It's a brown shirt with a bit of like a low-cut V-neck. And then he's got some baggy pants on. And he's got some sort of weird, like, trinket necklace. It's got, like, some beads, it looks like, or fake beads. And then he's got a pair of dirty old boots on underneath the baggy pants. And the pants are kind of like cargo pants. He's got lots of big pockets running along the sides. And he's got, like, a little utility belt around that. And he's got a pair of goggles up on his head right now that he's not using. And his hair's kind of a curly mess. It looks like maybe sort of an afro, but also a little bit more curly than an afro would be. But it's kind of like that shape. And he's got a pretty big forehead, kind of a receding hairline almost. And a little bit of hair on his chin, just a very, very small beard. Pretty much just kind of kept fairly short. And he's got some fingerless gloves on as well. He steps back, motions for you to come inside, and it's dimly lit in here. You see there are tons of shelves and just all sorts of trinkets and tech. There's a desk, basically like a counter, basically across from the door to the left, and then you can see that there's another door that leads out of here that goes somewhere else just next to that countertop, so to speak. Looks like kind of his workbench slash like the register area. And then off to the right and going further back into the building are just countless shelves that you kind of walk around. They kind of set up almost like aisles in a sense. And he goes behind the counter and kind of takes a seat, and he starts tinkering with whatever he's working on. He's got some tools, like he's disassembling or reassembling something right now.
Okay.
Well, go ahead, man. Talk.
Yeah. So my friend here, can you take a look at this? And I'll pull up an image of the Leah's photo and say, my friend, she had this picture made of when she was a kid. I was wondering if you could do something similar. Well, how did you make this? Was it like just a composite from a photo? Were you able to pull something from their memories? I guess, would you be able to do something like that?
He looks.
Say, I wanted to get a photo of my father, or of myself as a younger lad.
All right. So he looks over the photo with that you're showing him. You're showing him the photo that you guys found in her apartment, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he have a character sheet? There we go. Okay. Please give me a manipulation roll. Okay. And please also give me an insight roll if you'd like.
Sure. Got 2 there and 1 on the inside.
Okay. So you can tell that he is kind of purposely stalling as he looks at the photo, obviously considering whether or not he should say anything to you. Yeah, I could do something like that. I could take a memory, turn it into a photo. But you get the feeling that he's not saying everything that he probably knows. He seems more cautious to you than being intentionally secretive.
Okay. That's good to hear. What is that process like? You just kind of plug in and...
He says,
Yep.
"Yeah, man, it's we it's called a stay line scan. Hook you up. It takes a long time, very time consuming, but it can help take your memory, image in your head, put it to paper, so to speak, and print it out and get you a photo."
Okay. That's good to hear. I just popped in between shifts, so I don't really have a whole lot of time right now. I guess one other thing I wanted to ask. The lady from the photo, my friend, have you seen her recently? It's just kind of a shot in the dark. She didn't come in for her last shift.
So he says no, very plainly, like, "No, never seen her." But you can tell that he recognizes either her or the photo or both.
I guess, do I have a picture of the back of the photo? Could I be like, I know you have seen her.
I would imagine
talked
you
about
have
it.
that. Yeah, you took pictures on the Kia, so yeah. Do you show him that?
I'm gonna I guess ply him a little more of like, she said she came to you to make this photo. Are you sure you haven't ever seen her?
He kind of mulls it over. He's like, she could have, but, I get a lot of people in here, so hard to say. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show him the other side. It's like, this is the mark here. If it's really important, if you could tell us more about what's going on.
He eventually seems to relent a little bit, and he kind of like sighs, kind of in exasperation. And he says, "Look, man, I don't want no trouble. All right, I don't like getting my clients in trouble here. It's bad for business, you know. But yeah, she came in, said she wanted a printout of that memory. Said it was her daughter. She seemed kind of upset about everything, so I helped her out as best I could."
The pictures of our daughter.
Yeah, man, that's what she said.
Right. Of course. There's such a strong similarity.
And yeah, now that you look at it, you do see there's definitely a similarity between the girl in the picture and Leah.
That's super interesting. But it's also thrown off my thoughts for questioning. Okay. Can I mill up and down the aisles a bit? See if there's anything he's selling that's of interest?
Yeah, I mean, when you do,
look around.
you get the feeling that like it's more of a like his personal collection, like you're going through like a mechanic's shop rather than this is like a display area. But he doesn't say anything, but he does like kind of get up and kind of follow you a little bit. Now, the way the shelves are set up, think of like the plastic shelves you would buy like at a store where there's like a base piece and then there's a like a small pole in each of the four corners, and then there's another shelf on top, and so on and so forth. And these are probably stacked with about 4 or 5 shelves, so you can see, through each shelf because it's a flat shelf. It's not like a shelving unit at a it's not like an aisle unit. They're just set up like aisles, so he doesn't have to like be right on top of you to see where you're going, but he gets up and he kind of like walks over there and he's kind of watching you as you're looking around, and you see all sorts of bits and bobs, and clearly random tech pieces, some which probably don't work, some that do. And you get the feeling that this guy, just by the look of it, this guy probably dabbles in just about everything. You don't see much in the way of weapons, like he doesn't have like an armory down here, but he's got a lot of other stuff that would probably be worth something to somebody.
Okay. Okay.
So what else you be looking for?
I guess tech-wise, I don't really have a whole lot that's on my shopping list, but I'll keep you in mind if anything comes up. I might have to take a rain check on the photo, but I'll swing back in once I have the time. So of course you've never met Leah's daughter then?
No, that's no, man. That's the only time I ever saw that lady. If that's her name, Leah. She didn't tell me her name. Yeah, she was in here the one time, and I made the photo. Part of the state line scan you kind of do on your own too, so I kind of left her to do her own thing. So if you want one done, just let me know.
I don't suppose that leaves any additional data around. You don't have that as a recording or anything.
He shakes his head. He's like, no, once it's done, it's erased after it does the printout.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
It takes up such a huge amount of data, you can't really have more than one on there at a time anyway.
Alright. Well, thank you for your time. Until next time we meet.
Yeah, sure thing, man. You remember Doc Badger. He'd take care of you.
Will do. Have a good evening.
He kind of just gives you like a little like 2-fingered salute as you walk out the door, and then once you're out, you can hear it kind of click locked behind you. Meanwhile, back at the snake pit, our other 2 investigators, you two, Garrick and Violet, you've just come out of the snake pit after reviewing the crime scene, speaking with Taffy Lewis and the dancer Iris. You've found this bullet fragment that was in the wall, seen the huge pool of blood in the middle of the dance floor, and now you're making your way outside. Violet is ahead of you, Garrick, and Violet, as you're scanning the crowd, you do see this man matching the description of this guy Styles they told you about, and you were just heading over there, I believe, to talk to him, and it looks like he turns and starts to walk away rather quickly.
Yeah, I follow him, and I yell back to Garrick, or I motion to him.
Do you say anything to Styles?
Yeah, I think last time I said, "Hey, wait up!" He was moving.
Okay. As you do that, as you say that, you see that he picks up speed and darts down around the corner, down an alley behind the building, behind the snake pit.
I pursue after him.
All right. Well, it's time for a little bit of a chase here.
But I do want to make sure Garrick sees me before I...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Garrick's one zone behind you. So,
Okay.
I will also begin pursuit.
Excellent. Okay, folks, we're going to do a little bit of a chase here. So this is how this works. It's a little loud, sorry. Okay, so we're going to start a chase here. You guys start off basically in front of the snake pit, and he's already around the corner. So at this point, Tyler, Styles is 2 zones ahead of you, and he's 3 zones ahead of Garrick. And you guys are 1 zone apart. So the way this works is we're each going to choose a maneuver. And then we will reveal these one at a time. And then I have to roll to see what kind of obstacle is going to be in your path here. Tell me what maneuvers you guys are doing. Let me actually pick his first, though. What are you guys going to do?
I'm going to try to cut off.
Okay.
And I will pursue.
Okay. He is going to flee. So we start off with the person who is fleeing. So he's going to attempt a mobility test. And for each shift he gets, for each success he gets, will increase the range, the distance between you guys. And I rolled a 7 here, so... Okay, so as he runs around the corner, this makes perfect sense. A pair of LAPD street cops try to block the chase, guns drawn. This gives disadvantage to the pursue, flee, hide, and stand and shoot. So this is going to affect you and him, Sean, because you're both doing the pursue and the flee option. And let's see, what else does this do? Anyone who performs the stand and shoot maneuver will be fired upon by the cops. You can attempt to call them, calm them down, assuming how you interact. You know what? I won't go too much in detail on these. I think it's more interesting. You guys just have to react to them. So what happens? You see Styles go around the corner, and as he's about to make his way out of sight, you can see that there are 2 officers that are here, kind of controlling the scene, making sure the crowd is in check, and you hear them shout and basically try to move and interrupt here. So this is going to give disadvantage to his roll. Let me pull up his character sheet here. Good old Styles. Okay, I get to actually make a roll here. How does this work? What was it? A mobility roll? Yes. Oh, look at that, though. He gets a 10. 2 successes for Styles. Yeah, he's pretty far here. Okay, so Sean, he is over extreme range to you right now.
Oh boy.
For Tyler, he has just gotten out of extreme range this round. So he gets past the cops as they try to block him, and he disappears down the corner of the alley. You guys can do your orders in whatever whatever range you'd like.
Okay.
Or order, I should say, your maneuvers.
Well, I failed, so I'm going to push.
Okay, 1 success. Do you say anything to these cops as you see them, drawing their guns and shouting at everybody and kind of getting in your path?
Yeah, I'd pull out my badge, LAPD, shouting, we've got a suspect on the run.
All right. Give me a connections roll, please. I'll give you advantage on this because you're showing your badge. Smart move.
Dick.
4 successes.
Dude.
They instantly recognize that you have a Blade Runner badge. One of them quickly steps aside to let you run past, and the other one actually joins in the pursuit with you, and he's right behind you.
Nice.
You see he's got his hand on his hat, trying to keep it, and it falls off as he just takes off as fast as he possibly can. You had 1 success on your pursue roll?
Yeah.
Okay, so after Styles moves, this is the distance. Garrick, you move up 1. The officer is behind you. And yeah, Violet, your turn.
All right, great. For cutoff, it's an opposed mobility / driving roll, depending on what you're doing. Now, I don't know if he's considered extreme at this distance.
Let's see here. Cut off.
that would give disadvantage.
Yeah, so disadvantage at long range or more. He was at long range at the start, so even if he wasn't. So yeah. So, and you said it's opposed?
Yeah, it's opposed mobility. It would
Oh,
be.
I see. Okay.
Alright.
Let me hide my roll here, and let's do it.
Disadvantage.
Mine only rolled 1 dice here, Way.
Yeah, mine did too.
Probably the
should
disadvantage,
I-
right?
Yeah, I clicked disadvantage.
I didn't click disadvantage on mine, though.
Well, you don't need to. I do for being long range.
No, I'm just saying...
I don't think.
Oh, no, you know what? It just didn't roll my dice at all, that's why. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so Violet, even only having 1 dice, gets 2 successes. Are you happy with that, or do you want to... Well, I guess you can't push because you can't get any more, so...
Yeah, I mean that's good, right?
Yeah,
I'm guessing I'm gonna go with that.
That's as high as you could get with 1 dice, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Violet's pretty determined to catch this guy, I guess.
Clearly, yeah. Now, actually, I rolled 2 successes as well, so we
Uh-oh.
have a tie, and I don't recall what happens here, so we have to check the old rule book. Opposed rolls. Oh, look at that. There's a paragraph that says ties. Thank you, Free League. See, it's not that hard. This is how you get a 5-star RPG. You make rules for shit that you actually need. If you and your opponent roll the same number of successes, the result is a tie. Typically, your action will fail if you roll a tie as the active party in an opposed roll, but in some cases like close combat, ties have specific effects. If a tie needs to be broken, re-roll the opposed roll to determine the outcome. I think in this case, you're both moving at the same rate here. So you try to cut him off, but he's just too far ahead of you. You go down a different alley, and when you get back onto the main path, you haven't gained any distance on him.
Shit.
And
So it actually has something different in the cutoff. It says, for if you lose or roll a tie, the distance is increased to extreme.
oh, I guess we should read the full text, huh? Okay.
That
You try to
makes
find a shortcut and cut
Yeah.
off the prey. This maneuver can only be done by pursuer. Make an opposed mobility roll. If the range is long or extreme, you get disadvantage. If you win the roll, the distance to the prey is immediately reduced to engaged. And an immediate hand-to-hand combat or ramming attack can be made as normal. If you lose or roll a tie, the distance is increased to extreme. If the distance was already extreme, the chase is over. And he is already at extreme right now, I believe. He's over extreme at this point. So unfortunately, when you get back on the main path here, Violet, you don't see him anywhere. He's long gone.
Do I have a comms to Garrick or no? We don't.
Yeah, you guys have your Kias.
I'm gonna say, shit, Garrick, I lost him.
Well, if the chase is over, do I lose the chase too?
Yeah, because he's even further away from you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess he's the same distance, but yeah, he's... Once he
Rip.
gets past extreme range, he's just too far gone.
Rip.
So, yeah, you take off after him, and you eventually catch up to Violet as she kind of comes through another alley. You guys meet up at this junction. The officer huffing and puffing behind you, clearly not ready for such a extreme bout of physical activity. And just like that, it's over.
That was a short chase.
Shit. Garrick will turn to the LAPD officer. Can you put out an APB for that man? Goes by Styles, bald, real tall.
He says, yeah, I'll call it into dispatch. Just a second.
Yeah.
I guarantee he'll be back.
And eventually you can see the officer, he's got his, his radio on his, shoulder. He's, talking into it. Yeah, APB out on tall, white, very fast male, bald. And then once he does that, he's like, who the hell was that guy?
Now a suspect.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your help.
He just kind of shrugs like,
Yeah.
wish I could have done more.
Yeah. Yeah. Got away from all of us, so.
But he seems to appreciate the sentiment.
God. All right, now I know never to use cutoff unless you're close,
Yeah.
because
Damn.
it just ends the whole run. All
Yeah,
right,
It
very
would
good.
have been baller, though, if you pulled it off.
Yeah, it would have been like.
Yeah, well, rolling 2 successes.
The
doesn't-
chase would have been over in one turn regardless.
this is so comical. I just imagine his big long legs. He's just like whoop, whoop, whoop,
Pretty much.
running past everyone. All right, well, shit, Garrick.
All right. Well, he's definitely suspicious.
Did you see him before out there?
Yeah. I grilled him a little bit too.
I forgot if we talked about it last session, but anyway, let's say we catch up. So he talked to you, but he ran from me.
I snuck up on him. I saw him acting shifty and made my way through the crowd.
Strange.
Yeah. His story didn't match up to what we heard inside.
So that's the guy they think potentially instigated the fight,
Maybe.
or was at least part of it, and
Yeah,
he was defending the replicant.
right. But he,
Yeah,
when I asked him, he
there's-
said he didn't.
their stories indicate that he didn't necessarily. Well, they had started hassling Iris, and then he intervened basically on her behalf. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I guess determines what you mean by started the incident. You know.
But his story was that he didn't go into the middle or anything like that, so he wasn't near the shooting.
Well, I think it's time to pay this Skylar guy a visit, but
Yeah.
that might be a little more volatile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might want to bring the old dog with us for that one.
Yeah. He's part of an anti-replicant movement, so
Yeah,
I don't see that going well.
might want to be a little more crafty about that one. I don't know. Do you want to go back to base?
Yeah, we should probably let the others know.
You guys can get on your Kias to tell them too, so you don't have to keep going back to base to do that. Otherwise, you'd be flying around all day.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll call sorry, Kyle. I forgot your character's name.
Oh,
Silas.
Silas. Holbach.
Oh, that's right, Silas. I'll call Holbach and just kind of brief him real quick about what happened. Interviewed the folks. Not a whole lot of help here. We do know that Skylar, the head of the sort of Kill magazine, was here. His guys helped start the fight. But whatever happened between, Sander getting shot, not quite sure. But
Yeah. And then we found that bullet.
yeah, I guess we can, ask if anyone checked out his body yet, see if that bullet matches the casing. This looks like it could have been from one of our blasters here.
Yeah, that you would have to take back to the lab to get tested.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
was in with Coco. He did say it was a point blank shot. Very large hole. Could have been a blaster, but we'll have to look at the casing.
Well, I suppose we can bring that back when we head over next.
All right. Well, we are at our halfway break here, even though it hasn't been that long for our listeners, but we spent some time before we started tonight. So let's take our break. Players, think about what you're going to do for your next shift here, which is going to be your third shift working. And I'm going to grab some Dr. Peppers, so we'll be right back. Okay, listeners, we are back. Players, we're about to begin the third shift here. As the sun, well, there's not really sun due to the foggy clouds and such, but daylight begins to turn into evening as night begins to set upon the city. We're in the third shift now, which is evening, and then there's the night shift after this. What do you all decide to do at this point? What are your next steps in the investigation?
Yeah, I guess I'll get on the Kia and say, our interview with Doc Badger wasn't quite as fruitful as I was hoping for. Essentially, he said that he made the photo and it was of Leah's daughter, which is an interesting detail. But he didn't really have any information on her whereabouts. I think next we've yet to follow up with the Metro cab. That might be a good stop, unless we want to like kick down the door of Kill Magazine, which is a place I would like to avoid if possible.
Maybe there's a way we can subtly get into Kill Magazine. Maybe not go in as cops. Is there a way for us to know if she did have a daughter or a record to search?
Everybody can give me a... Let's see.
Like, if that's even possible?
Well, she's a replicant, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, it could be adopted or...
Well, but if she they share a similar appearance.
But they
A
she could have been
replicant
made.
daughter.
You know, she could have been made.
Yeah,
she
maybe.
Could be
Yeah,
she could be a clone. Who friggin' knows?
true.
So anybody can make an what would it be here?
Firearms.
I think anybody, if they want, can make an insight check based on what you get here. I might give you some information.
Sure.
Well, I'm gonna make one.
Nothing. You got one.
I got one
Wow.
success.
Oh
Yeah.
boy,
Stillis, you
Definitely.
want to push?
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, you could just take
Yeah, you could though.
two
take
resolve
points of
damage.
Yeah. I'm asking
I
you if you
mean-
want to mentally cripple yourself because you're thinking so hard.
The best thing is that it won't give me the option. Like it
Oh.
usually gives you the option at the bottom.
Yeah,
and
I guess you couldn't then. Yeah, it makes sense. Anyway, so Garrick, Violet, the two of you would know that, as far as you know, there is no way that a replicant could have a physical birth child. Replicants are not designed, they're sterile, they're not designed to be able to have a child. You're unsure as to whether or not there's such a thing as a replicant child, as, you know, have they made replicants that are meant to look and be like a kid? You've never heard of such a thing, but you would lean towards no, because replicants generally are created to deal with all sorts of jobs so that humans don't have to do them. And a child, generally speaking, would just not be fit for the types of jobs that replicants are made for.
But it's not crazy to think. It's just something we haven't come across yet. It's something that really doesn't exist in the wheelhouse that we know.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I guess technically she could be adopted, but you've never heard of such thing.
Like, in just me thinking out loud, what if, you know, someone lost a child and they wanted a replicant of that child, you know? Something like that situation.
I mean, it's, as far as you know, you've never heard of such a thing, but you probably wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility, considering the history of replicants, the Terrell Corporation, and the Wallace Corporation.
Mhm.
You also don't think there'd be any record. If there was, you would have no idea where to look.
Yeah. Well, it seems unlikely that that's an actual daughter. Could that be a transposed image of what she was supposed to look like as a child?
Well, now that you think about it, it could be part of her memory or memories, and
Yeah.
that is something you could look into. If you found out the memory lab or the person that designed her memories, you could, in theory, actually view her memories or learn about them.
All right. That is something I'll probably pursue depending on what we decide as a group to do next.
Yeah, all of you know that there are memory labs that do those very things.
Yeah. Doc Badger kind of alluded to that, and he said that it was scooped from her brain, more or less, to go into the photo.
That's right.
Yeah, so just to be clear, you know that the Stayline scan is made from a memory. Now, obviously, Doc Badger, he didn't seem to indicate that he knew that she was a replicant. So, to him, you know, it seems okay. It's her daughter. It looks like her. She said it was her daughter. It's her daughter. But you guys know her being a replicant, she shouldn't have real memories. So, but that is how a Stayline scan is made, regardless whether it's an implanted, fabricated memory or not.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we also could potentially research, is it Silas, the bald guy?
Yes.
Dials.
Mainframe, and get any more analysis from the bullet casing, although I don't know if that'll get us much further. I think we can make some assumptions about what sort of weapon fired the blast.
Yeah. I would say.
I think probably should look into the Metro cab to see if we can find out where Leia went, and then sort of open our search from there. Chris, is there like a database or something where all replicants are like logged into?
Yep. Wallace Corporation.
Damn. Okay.
Or the UN. You know, part of the big history in the Blade Runner timeline that at least Silas would know about, because he's been around long enough, is that at one point the Tyrell Corporation gave the entire replicant database to the UN as a show of goodwill, and that was somehow leaked, and that led to many Nexus models being hunted down and killed, and basically forced them to go into hiding and become fugitives. So, and of course, being a fugitive was basically illegal. So they were forced to do something they didn't want to do, which made them even more hated and hunted.
Mm-hmm.
You assume such a thing exists. You would assume Wallace Corporation would have that. Now, there are things at Wallace Corporation. I should point this out, just because they're not exactly the most popular people out there. There are things that the Wallace Corporation has that you can try to get access to. And I'm looking on the list here to see if it's actually listed. Yeah, they have the Wallace replicant records. It takes one or more promotion points to try to access, and that's done through, obviously, Wallace HQ.
Mm-hmm. Because, right, so I'm just thinking, like, Styles escaped from us pretty fucking well. What if he's a, like a replicant? He's, maybe that's why he was able to
Definitely
escape.
crossed
Might
my
fucking
mind.
fall. Yeah. So, if we can, would it take a shift to do that kind of research and look into that?
I'm looking up how that actually works as you guys
Okay.
speak, so just
Gotcha.
keep discussing.
So those are my two ideas. Metro cab and
So we have the cab, we have Wallace Corp, and then we have the magazine.
Mhm.
Well, Wallace Corp or the UN.
yeah.
The UN is, I'm assuming, not located in LA somewhere.
No, the UN is basically the only remaining governing body of the entire planet. There's like representatives and stuff in LA, but the actual UN, you guys might not even know where it is, to be honest. It's not here, I'll tell you that much.
We go to the embassy, I guess, though, somewhere.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my initial feeling was the replicants could follow up at Metro Cab, and everyone else could go to Kill Magazine.
Okay.
And we do a 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, Sean, the turnaround that's listed for any of these LAPD resources
Mhm.
that is the amount of time it takes for your request to basically go through and get approved or disapproved. And if it gets approved, that would also include you following up on that.
Okay.
Let me see here. Yeah, I guess because this is one where you can spend more than one promotion point depending what you're trying to get. So it would depend. I would say this one, because it's Wallace Corporation, the amount of time it's going to take is going to largely depend on how many promotion points you spend and how well you pass your test.
Okay. What would the test be?
It is. I think these are all connections.
Okay.
Most of these are connections. Some of them are tech. This one is a connections roll.
Okay. Yeah. So then if it doesn't take a shift, then I would do that, and then I guess go with Silas to.
Well, if you get the bare minimum, it'll take a shift.
Oh,
if
okay.
if you get really well or spend extra promotion points, it could go faster.
Okay. I will spend 2 promotion points and then take the test, I guess.
All right, I'll give you advantage for spending the extra promotion point.
Nice.
And because, well, what exactly are you requesting from Wallace Corporation? Because obviously this has to be fairly official, even though you guys are on the case. But the person you're asking to see this might not know that you're on the case. So.
Right. So I'm trying to find out, I guess, the records to see if a guy matching Styles' description, because I doubt Styles is his actual name.
Okay.
Matching his description is a replicant, and if so, like where he lives.
Okay. Do you mention that it's part of the case at all when you make this request?
No, I specifically leave out that it's relevant to this case.
Okay, then. Go ahead and roll. You can have advantage here because you spend extra promotion points.
Okay.
Maybe you fill out some extra paperwork. 1 success, 1 unicorn.
We're gonna
and
push.
1 blank.
We're gonna
Okay.
push. I'll take it.
Pushing it to the limit.
Yeah.
Oof.
It got worse.
2 damage to your resolve and 1 success. So, despite your efforts, it's going to take a shift before they get back to you and give you access, but they are going to give you access.
Yeah. Okay.
So this shift is when it's happening. Next shift, the night shift, is when you can actually have access to that information.
Right. Okay.
What is everybody else doing? Or what's the plan moving forward here?
I'm good with the plan of checking out the cab company.
Yeah, I'm good with the 2 replicants doing Metro Cab, and then we can Garrick and Silas can follow up at the magazine.
Okay, great. All right. Well, why don't we go to the Metro Cab as you guys split up? Do you guys bring the bullet back to LAPD?
I would like to get that started.
Yeah.
Okay. We will assume that during the shift that you guys are out working, Coco and his team will look into that, and they'll have an answer for you at the same time. You'll get an answer from Wallace Corp.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So, you guys split up into pairs, each piling into a different spinner. Take off, head off in your various directions. So, our replicant team, is there any discussion in the spinner as you guys are cruising above the city streets?
Especially, we should figure out what questions we're gonna ask.
Yeah.
We have, I
is the
think we have the
ID
cab number, and that's probably about it.
Correct.
As a metro company, they presumably don't have any particular inclination to hide information from us.
Gotta
I guess-
imagine there's a database or something we can access and find out where that cab went. Main thing we're trying to figure out from them.
Right.
All right. Well, eventually, you guys head over a dingy part of Sector 5. Find this old, dilapidated building where the Metro Cab dispatch office is located. It's run down, fairly dirty, some sort of office building. Guys land the spinner nearby, get out as the rain continues to drizzle here and there. And when you guys get inside, there is a like a small waiting area. There's one of those large desks with like the glass like teller's window. So they're almost like kind of in a booth. They're separated from you guys. And it's that glass that has like that diamond shaped pattern, like that like little grill almost covering the glass. But you can see there's a woman inside. Looks pretty bored, pretty, annoyed that she's here at this late hour. You can see that beyond that, there's a hallway that leads further into the building. And you guys could see on your way here, there were a couple Metro cabs parked outside and around the building. You imagine there's more out and back as well. You can see she's got a small radio on, listening to some news. And looks like there's a really small, crappy TV that's kind of fuzzing in and out that she's watching something on.
Yeah, I'll walk up to it, flash my badge, and say, "Excuse me, miss. There's someone we can speak to about the transference of your cabs or any sort of tracking system folks have."
Yeah, I suppose. What do you need?
Looking for a bead on this number here, and I'll read off.
All right.
the
Give me a manipulation roll, please.
Three successes.
Holy fuck. Wow.
I coo it very very seductively.
Well, she...
Imagine me saying that a lot sexier.
Okay. So you rattle off the number, you slide a piece of paper under the glass, and she takes her glasses and like kind of puts them down like so that she's actually looking at you with her eyes rather than through the glass, and she goes, honey, I'll do whatever you need. Give me a minute. And she starts typing in some the code on the thing here. And she says, all right, yeah, this is this Earl's cab. What exactly do you need?
Trying to find out where it went, where it may be right now.
She says, well, I can call him up on the radio for you if you like. But is there a particular day you're looking for, sweetheart?
Yeah, 2 days ago. The vehicle may have been involved in a shooting.
All right. She takes a look. She's like, yeah, you got a time? I can pull up his route tabs here.
I don't know if we do have a time.
Yeah,
zone.
you would. You don't
Okay.
actually know what it is, but you guys would have that
Okay.
information.
Got it. Yeah, I'll give her what information I have, and just trying to see where it may have went after this time.
She says, okay, yeah, left the Snake Pit Club fairly late that night, right around the time you just said. And looks like Earl took him over to Animoid Row after that. That's where the drop-off is.
Animal Row. So I look back.
She's like, you want me
And
to
if
call
he's
him up
thinking-
on the radio? Would that be helpful?
There a chance we'd be able to talk to him in person?
I mean, if you tracked him down, I don't know exactly where he is right now. He's out working, but I mean, I'll call him up for you. It's no trouble.
Sure.
It's like, all right, 1 second. You see she pulls up one of the dispatch. She's like, yeah, Earl, you there? Earl, you better answer this damn phone. Get your ass off whatever you're doing and answer the phone. And then finally, here, I'm here. What is it? She says, that's better. She says, I got two of LA's finest here, looking for some information. We was hoping you could give us a little hand if that ain't too much trouble. And she kind of winks at you guys. And he's like, yeah, but what do you need, officers?
Hi there, Mr. Earl. Just looking to try and find some information on a fare you may have had at 2 days ago at, XYZ time. Someone you may have picked up around the snake pit, taken to Animal Row.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a woman. I don't know, probably in her 30s-ish, short brown hair. Seemed like she was kind of in a hurry. Asked me to take her to Animoid Row and dropped her off, and she took off.
She have any identification, or how'd she pay you?
Oh, just some chinyan. The usual.
She have any blood or signs of strain or struggle on her?
If she was, I wouldn't have asked. I'll tell you that much. I've been down that road, if you know what I mean. So, nothing that I saw. I mean, she looked upset. I mean, she did have a gun on her, but I've been in that situation too, so I know better than to ask questions.
Well,
I mean, she didn't threaten me or anything, but I figured better not to poke the bear.
Did it look like this kind of gun? And I pull out my service weapon.
You're on a radio right now, not a vid call.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, she's like on her dispatch, like walkie-talkie radio thing.
Sorry.
Did it sound like this, and then fire it into the air?
Just another day at Metro Cab Dispatch.
No kidding.
Jesus.
Yeah, well,
people firing off guns.
that's about all I got. That to me that seems like that matches Leah.
Wild that you called the drop-off point in Animoid Row. We could have just gone straight there.
Well,
I guess
Earl, I
way down.
appreciate your time and your help with this. Yeah, unless you got any other questions, I think I got what we're gonna get.
No, I think that's it for me. Thanks for coming out here. I figure it's overkill to send us both, but I certainly wasn't going to volunteer to go out to that trash magazine. And if I spend another shift in front of a computer, I'm going to tear my fucking hair out.
Well, yeah, I'll yeah, that's about it. I'll thank the the lady again, and
She winks again. She says, name's Irma, sweetheart.
Irma, you've been very helpful. Appreciate it. Yeah, maybe you check out Animal Row next.
She says, my pleasure, darling. It's not too often I get an LAPD officer in here quite as good looking on the eyes as you are.
I smile at that.
All right. Meanwhile, on the other side of LA, our two human detectives are headed off to Kill Magazine, which is right over here. Is there anything that the two of you discuss on your short spinner flight on the way there?
Yeah, so Garrick would, I guess, because I don't think we talked about this, just go over the meeting they had with, it's Kel?
Quell. Like,
Quell.
To quell
Like
a rumor.
Yes, Quell. So, boss, we had that meeting with Quell early in the morning. She pushed us towards this group at Kill Magazine and the anti-replicant empathy movement pretty early on. But, I don't know, just seemed kind of suspicious how quickly she focused in on them.
Well, I think she wants heat off of a possible replicant on replicant homicide.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lead, and those other two are useless here. So I'm gonna need
Well.
you to kind of smooth talk whoever this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, I could just shit on replicants.
Yeah, I had to do that earlier today.
Well, not unusual.
Doesn't sit well.
No, but if it helps us find whoever killed one of our guys, I guess I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, eventually, you guys make it to Kill Magazine, located over in Sector 1 here on the northwest side of the map. When you get here, it's not a terribly large building, and we actually do have a map here we can check out.
Oh boy.
I think probably need to give you guys sight here, don't I?
Yeah.
Because this game loves to not give you vision.
Oh.
That work?
Yeah, very cool.
Okay.
Look at that.
So this is the front waiting area. There's basically some steps that lead from outside. It's just looks like a 2-story building. There's the office on the ground floor here, and you're assuming there's probably like an apartment or something above. And you guys walk past this one big window. The Kill Magazine, you can see the logo here at the top of the map. It's these big, blocky, red outlined letters that say Kill, and then very fancy cursive writing that says magazine, kind of at a slant underneath. And it is a tabloid magazine that is known for having some of the more shocking or controversial news in the city. Some people swear that it's the only publication out there that actually bothers to publish the truth, whereas a lot of other people think that it's just trying to take advantage and glorify all the terrible things that happen in the city. You walk through this main door here at the bottom of the building, and you find yourself inside a small lobby. There's a large old leather sofa to your left with a small coffee table in front of it. And you can see ahead of you, there's a small set of stairs that goes into like the main office area where the various reporters, journalists would have some of their booths, their stations. There's a desk here where the secretary would be at, and it looks like they're getting ready to close up for the day by the time you guys get here. But there is still a woman behind the desk. She's got very kind of retro style, thick glasses. Looks like she's maybe in her late 20s, early 30s. Got some red hair pulled back in kind of like a ponytail, and like 2 big bangs kind of hanging on either side of her face. And she's got a red kind of tight skirt on that goes just past her knees, and then a white dress shirt that's buttoned up. The sleeves are rolled up just past her elbows, and she's got this big necklace, like these big, thick green beads. Can I help you?
Oh, okay. Hi. I guess we're looking to see if we can talk to Jill Schuyler.
Yeah, Mr. Schuyler's not in right now. He's busy.
Yeah.
And
Could you
she's
tell me
like,
where?
she's chewing gum super loud and obnoxiously while she says this.
Well, it's pretty important. Do you know where he would be?
Yeah, I'm afraid I can't say. I don't know.
Don't know or can't say. They are different.
She's like half paying attention to you, and she's like kind of twirling her hair around one of her fingers, like just kind of looking around the room.
So then I guess at that point I'm just going to pull out my badge. It's really important I speak to him.
She sighs like it's the biggest inconvenience of her life, and she just imagine me at work, and
Yeah.
she clicks a button on like a phone or intercom in front of her. It's like, yeah, Mr. Schuyler, there's some police here to see you. Yeah. Should I send them up? And then she's like, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, go right on up. Just go through there, and he'll meet you. He'll meet you.
Right.
Don't touch anything. As you're
Silas
walking
would
past
be,
her, you see there's framed glass posters of various Kill magazine covers lining the walls throughout this building.
Garrick will literally just touch one of them, just a big handprint, like grease up the glass a little bit. Oh, it's pretty nice. And then keep walking.
She's not even paying attention to you guys anymore.
Great.
yeah.
She goes back to doing whatever she was doing.
Silas would chuckle, and then on the way past another one, he would nudge just a corner of it so it's tilted just a bit.
Just the most petty shit right now.
All right. Well, you guys make your way into this like conference room over here, and eventually, this door to the north opens up, and it's like an elevator door. And you see, coming out of that door, is the man himself, Jell Schuyler. Older man, probably in his 50s, maybe even 60s. A little bit heavy set, very big, wide face with big jowls, couple liver spots on the side of his cheek and up on his forehead, big bags under his eyes, and gray, almost like mildly shoulder-length hair, kind of unkempt, kind of slicked back, furrowed brow, and he walks in and he says, "Ah, if it isn't my best friends in the world, what can I do for you two fine officers?"
Well, your name came up in an investigation, and we have to do our due diligence. That's why we came here, just to talk to you, make sure everything's clear.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my name comes up in a lot of places, if you haven't noticed.
Well, it's the first time I'm hearing of you, so hasn't gotten to our ears yet.
Yeah, 'cause you probably read some of those other shit publications. Make it fast, copper. Time is money. What do you need? Am I being accused of a crime, or are you just here to waste my time?
A little bit of both.
Well, he's got a sense of humor. Did you hear that, Penny? Fucking guy.
Can you tell us where you were? It was 2 nights ago, Chris?
One night. It was
One
the
night.
night before today. Yeah, it's what we'll assume that's what Tyler said, but yeah, it's just one night.
Okay, yeah. So then, can you tell us where you were that night?
He gives a big sigh, and he's like, "I suspect that you already know that."
Yeah. We have a vague inkling.
And
So then, can you tell us what happened?
yeah, this big, tall albino bastard started to argue with me and my boys. And we was just having some fun, enjoying some time, seeing the sights. And, yeah, and he came over, started yelling, puffing his chest. Yeah, a couple shoves, couple fists. And then, and then there was a couple shots too. It's like, yeah, those two Blade Runners hanging out at the bar. They came up to arrest this lunatic, as they should have, might I add. And then, out of nowhere, the other Blade Runner pulled out her gun, shot the other one right in the chest, ran off. Everybody ran off at that point, including us. And, saw her hop in a Metro cab as she was booking it. Gonna make quite a story, don't you think? And he gives you a big, toothy, sarcastic grin when he says that.
Yeah. Might be a big story. That big albino guy. You seen him there before?
Oh, yeah. His name's Styles. I've seen him lurking around. Well, as much as a 6-foot freak can lurk around.
Do you know if he's a human or one of them skin jobs?
Not sure. I would guess he's a skin job, though.
Yeah.
Always hanging around there with those fuckers.
When he started causing issues for you guys, do you say anything specific?
Ah, don't hurt the dancer. She's too delicate. Don't throw the bottles at her. Yeah, typical nonsense.
Yes, Silas has his, as usual, every time he enters a place, takes his hat off. His like fists are gripping his hat, and you can hear them audibly like start to crunch.
Jesus.
You all right there, detective? Need a glass of water, maybe? You look a little strung.
No, it's a long day.
Do I offend you when I use such strong language?
Nothing strong about that. You can go stronger, can't you?
Yeah, well, just wait till tomorrow. Wait till you see the cover. It's gonna be great.
What's the plan for the cover? I'm curious.
Oh, so glad you asked, detective. Blade Runner kills Blade Runner in nightclub shooting? Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Certainly a headline.
So, anything else, or can I get back to sleep? I got a business to run, and I need my beauty sleep.
Well, Kyle, I think that's all the questions I have.
I think that's it for me too.
And as he gets up, he goes towards the elevator door, and then he stops. He turns over, so he's like, "Oh, by the way, I didn't get your fine gentlemen's names."
No, you did not. I'm just gonna get up and walk away.
As you walk away, he says, "Are you sure you want to do that, officer? I'm sure your deputy chief wouldn't be too happy to hear about you mistreating the general populace in such a rude way." And then he looks over to you, Halbeck. What about you?
Silas would kind of tilt his head to the side like he was bowing, put his fedora back on, and turn and walk.
Okay, officers, you play it your way. I'll be sure to drop off a few special issues for you tomorrow. Fritz. And he goes back into the office, or the elevator, kind of laughing as the door closes behind him. What do you guys do after that?
Well,
Yeah, I think we'd exit, and Silas would turn to Garrick and say, "So the angle's changed a little bit. So he was defending the dancer from this prick,
Yeah.
and then they came up trying to figure something out? Because they wouldn't arrest him. Why would they?"
Well, I mean, Blade Runners are usually on cases with replicants, right? If Styles is a replicant and had committed some crime, maybe they were after him. But why would she shoot her partner?
Yeah. And he's a loon, but he's not. I don't think he was lying, because he wasn't. He was almost bragging about throwing things at the dancer.
Right.
So he was rather forthcoming. Something doesn't add up.
It usually doesn't. But we definitely need to find Styles. Maybe they found something on that cab.
Yeah. Yeah, if we figure out if Styles is a replicant, then maybe there's an address. And if not, maybe one of us stakes out the snake pit again. Well,
Yeah.
not you two that were already there.
Yeah, you would know us.
Hector, I could take that.
Yeah. When we landed there, he was out there just looking specifically, almost like for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely suspicious. Yeah, and might want to let the chief know that Kill Magazine's going to be putting out a great headline tomorrow.
Yeah, we should probably let him know.
Yeah. Chris, are Blade Runners like publicly known? I would think not, right?
In what sense?
Well, like, how did the editor of Kill Magazine know that 2 Blade Runners were there if only
Well-
one of them fired their weapon?
You're not sure, but Blade Runners are known in the sense that the public knows Blade Runners are a thing.
Right.
But they're normally plainclothes detectives, so, just because they're a plainclothes cop doesn't mean they're a Blade Runner. They could just be a regular detective or working for a different department in the LAPD.
Right.
So,
So him knowing that they were Blade Runners seems kind of suspicious. Okay.
it is suspicious. I mean, there could be many explanations as to why he knows that.
Mhm.
Clearly, being the head of one of these magazines, he's probably more informed and probably has his fingers in more pies than the average person.
Right.
And it could be many ways he knows that. But yeah, you don't know for sure how he would know that.
Yeah.
It's unusual, but it's not out of the realm of possibility at
Right.
all.
Yeah. Suspicious, but not crazy. Okay.
Okay, so as evening begins to turn to night, what do the 4 of you do as this shift kind of comes to an end? At this point, 3 shifts have gone by. If we go into a 4th shift, then most of you are going to start suffering another point of resolve damage from stress. So, what does everybody do at this point?
Sounds like we might want to rest and hit it hard in the morning.
Yeah. I guess.
I actually think I'm gonna hit the snake pit. See if Styles looped around.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna suggest it might be best to follow up on the lead from the cab of Leah's possible location as soon as possible.
Oh, Animoid Row.
On it, Animoid Row.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of us could go out there while the other 2 rest, and then swap shifts at that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's also a plan.
Well, Halbeck, are you going to continue working since you have the Married to the Job talent?
You bet. I'm gonna head down to Animoid Row.
Okay. What about the other 3 of you? Are you all going to take some downtime?
Well, I figure, Violet, it should be you or me with Silas out there.
I'm pretty good at, I guess, at least the manipulation part of the investigation, so I don't mind taking this extra one and going to Animal Row. Is it Animal or Animoid Row?
Animoid Row.
Alright, got it.
Okay. And then are Hector and Garrick taking a break?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
So, Garrick, we'll start with you. We'll say that Halbeck will drop you off wherever you need to go because he's going to continue on into the night and then probably meet up with Violet. So, where would you have him drop you off? What are you going to do in your downtime?
He'll just go to a bar.
Okay. What kind of bar is our detective here looking for? You looking in like what part of the city are you going to?
Let's see. Gotta go back to the map.
Tell us a bit how Garrick Johnson tries to defrag after starting his day getting reamed by his digital
Yeah,
friend,
companion.
quote unquote,
Yeah.
and then going through the ringer with all he's done. I mean, at this point, you're coming off like I don't know, 6 hours per shift, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a 12 to 18 hour shift, of working with very little rest in between.
Yeah, he would try to find kind of just a small hole in the wall kind of bar where he can just get a booth by himself, drink, and think about the day and other stuff that's happened. Maybe go back over occasionally thinking about that key memory of his growing up. That person disappeared in the snow, all of the violence and blood he'd seen. Just trying to figure out what had happened today and what he could have done better.
Is this a bar that he normally frequents? Or does he find something new tonight?
I'll find something new.
All right. So Hallbeck, you find an area in the city, and he's like, yeah, just drop me off here. And you land the spinner so he can get out, and you can tell he's probably going to go wander off to some drinking hole. Sean, you eventually find a small little bar. It's got a red awning above the door. And when you walk inside, there's a bar on the right-hand side that stretches pretty much from wall to wall. And it's actually got one of those, at this point, it's like an old school, one of those rotunda doors where you got to push, the glass that kind of spins in like a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And you get inside. There's a lot of furniture here that looks pretty old and almost antique in some way. It's meant to look like it's wood furniture, but it very clearly is some cheap knockoff. There's a couple tables throughout the center here that usually have like 2 to 4 seats. The bar looks like it seats maybe about 8 to 12 people. And the bar itself is kind of set up to be like almost like a 1920s or 30s theme. And at the back of this room, opposite the door you come in, there's a small stage that is, just like a step or two up above the floor. And you can see that there is a band of 4 people, 3 men and 1 woman. The 3 men are all dressed in like tuxedo type Blues Brothers type outfits. One is on a piano, one is on a saxophone, and then the other is on like some sort of guitar. They're playing some smooth jazz. And then the woman is in this very bright, sparkling, gorgeous, like evening dress gown. No strapless. It's got a nice long slit up the side. She's got very, very nice matching high heels, and she's got black leather gloves that go up past her elbows. Hair is up in kind of almost like a perm, big bushy, like kind of style haircut. Some nice fancy jewelry, and she's singing into one of those old school microphones. The metal one that's got the horizontal slits across the front.
Yeah.
And it's like some very smooth, kind of laid back. The whole bar is filled with smoke when you come in. Almost everybody that's here, there's only a couple people. Most of them are watching. The bar just has one other person at it, and the bartender's dressed in a very simple but kind of fashionable dress vest with a little bow tie, almost like a butler in some ways. Where do you sit?
Is it like a corner booth I can take or something?
There's no booths, but there's tables up against the wall and in the corner, things like that.
Yeah. You just take one of those.
Sure. And you said you're gonna talk a little bit more about your memory here. What's going through Garrick's mind as he tries to recuperate?
He would just go over that memory, trying to connect it and just reliving that somewhat traumatic event from when he'd wandered out into the snowy area and had happened upon bodies of people. And that all the blood he'd seen that day had sort of been reminded of the blood he saw today in that pool of blood from one of his, like, essentially co-workers, right? Not someone he knew, but they were both on the force.
Yeah, you've never met Sander personally. He's only been on the force for a couple months, so he's kind of a newer model, newer replicant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been on the force longer than Leah, I think, but yeah, he hasn't been on for very long. Okay. All right, well, you order a drink, I suppose. Kind of kick back, try to relax. The atmosphere definitely helps. The woman has a great voice and singing very, like, slow, low, kind of sad, kind of uplifting songs. And she's on for a couple songs, as it looks like you've kind of, when you came here, she's maybe about halfway through her set as this goes on. Meanwhile, so Hallbeck, you head back, you're heading towards Anemoid Row or towards the Snake Pit? And you're going there with Violet, correct?
We should not go to Snake Pit with me there, as just in case Styles.
Yeah, I'm just confirming, where are you guys going?
I thought we were going to Anemoid Row.
Okay.
But he did mention about sneaking back to Snake Pit, but I think that's before we talked about splitting up and me going with him there. So.
All right. Well, let's do this. Hector, we're going to assume that Violet drops you off somewhere as you're going to take some downtime. So, what is it that you're going to do?
I think Hector is also going to go to a bar, but I think his goal is to have a little fun trying to hustle some tough guys into, like, arm wrestling bets.
Okay.
And basically, like, throw them over the table for, like, lunch money, basically. With the clean suit is gonna go into, like, a kind of trashy, like a biker bar sort of thing.
Okay.
And then uptight order a drink and be like, "Hello, good sir. I was wondering what sort of wine selection you might have here."
So it's this biker chick behind the bar. She's got short, torn, like, jean shorts, black, sleeveless, like, tank top with the logo of the bar on the front, and the bar is called the Crowbar. And she has got kind of long black hair. She's got heavy, like, eyeshadow makeup on, some black lipstick. She's got the spiked bracelets on both hands, several of them, and she, like, her eyes kind of go wide in, like, disbelief when you walk up to the bar. She says, "You're looking for wine here? I think you got the wrong place, buddy."
Oh, I could drink anything. I'm not too picky.
She laughs, pulls something from the bar, pours it. She's like, "All right, try that." She kind of slides over to you. And then she leans back on the railing behind her, you know, where all the drinks and bottles are set up, and she's kind of eagerly watching with, like, a grin on her face.
Yeah, I'm gonna just slam it back.
All right, give me a stamina test, please. All right, one success. So you put it back. It's certainly not something that you like, not your preferable taste, but you down it without making any sort of scene. And you see she kind of loosens up a bit. She seems to relax and just kind of gives you a big smile. She says, "Want another?"
In a moment. I really wanted to say I love the theme here. The crowbar, and then everybody, the hair is black, clothes. It's really something.
She just kind of laughs and she's like, "Yeah, it's something, I suppose." She says, "You must not get to this part of town very often."
Well, not too often.
So what brings you to a place like this? Because you look like you should be hanging out somewhere else, to be totally honest.
I threw a dart at the map.
Okay, I can dig that.
What if I look around and like point to somebody next to me? Be like, what about this guy?
What about him?
I don't know. What brings you here, sir?
Oh, you say that to the guy, okay.
Yeah.
He like, so it's this big dude. He's got a bandana, long, probably brown hair that's like in a ponytail. He's got this big thick beard, and he's got sunglasses tucked into his biker vest. And he just kind of looks over his shoulder a bit at you, and he goes, "Huh? Talking to me?"
Yeah, for sure.
He looks you up and down, and the look on his face is he's either confused or completely angry. You're not sure.
What brings you out here this fine night?
You joking, right? What does it look like I'm doing?
Just drinking, or?
Yeah, drinking.
Well, how about I buy a round? Maybe you can get the next one. Or we could do a little wager.
There's all sorts of expressions coming across his face, and then you say wager, and it looks like you have his attention.
Nothing too crazy. Oh, just arm wrestle for it. Whoever loses buys a round for the bar.
You hear the girl behind the bar go, "Oh shit, Axel, he wants to arm wrestle you? Oh, this is gonna be great." And she starts like shouting around to some of the people in the bar, and pretty soon you find yourself, they bring out one of those arm wrestling tables, you know, with the little handles and everything. And he goes, "All right, Pincushion, what's the wager?"
Well, nothing personal, I think. Just get a drink. Drinks on the house for everyone here.
He looks around, everybody's like cheering, like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be fucking great. We're all gonna get free drinks."
The win-win.
He's like, "All right, you got yourself a deal." And he, claps his one arm or his one hand around the handle, and he brings his other one up to you. He's got like the fingerless biker gloves on.
All right. Let's get to it then.
All right, give me an opposed strength test. And let me find an appropriate NPC here for this guy. Street Thug seems like a good one to use in this situation.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we'll just do straight strength. You know what? Let's do force. Yeah, force sounds good.
Sure. 2, 3, go. I got 2.
Well, I won't tell you his result yet unless you want to push.
I mean, that's about. It's not gonna get a lot better. I'm gonna stay with 2.
Not unless you roll a 10. Yeah. Okay. You guys have a tie. So this first round, both of you back and forth, but nobody can get the advantage. He's straining. There's veins popping in his head, his muscles, his bicep is bulging. And everybody's shouting like, "Come on, Axel, put this guy down." And someone's like, "You're not going to loosen his pencil neck? Come on, you pussy, go." And there's a lot of rowdy there. You can see other people are starting to pass some bets around, and you see the girl behind the bar is busy getting some drinks for everybody. She's like starting to pour shots of something in anticipation when this ends. So we're gonna need another roll here as you guys are just back and forth, back and forth. I'm gonna say though, you're each gonna take. Well, let's do this first and see what happens. So give me another force roll.
Alrighty. We got one. I think I will push that one.
Okay.
We got 2.
Good choice, because he had 1 success. So this time, finally, you can see he slowly starts to, his hand gets bent towards the table, and eventually he puts up a good fight, but it's like this slow death where eventually you're able to get his hand. It's like stuck. It's like just an inch from the table. He's doing everything to keep it from touching the top of the counter, and finally that last like inch, you slam it down, and the crowd goes crazy. Like, he's sweating and panting and huffing, and at first he looks a little angry, but there's so much like joking and like kind of impressed people around that he quickly just kind of does like a not bad, man. Yeah, you're stronger than you look, pencil neck.
I do what I can. Looks can be deceiving.
And he introduces himself as Axel, and he does eventually buy everybody some drinks, and gets you one as well.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Axel. I'll be back again soon for a rematch.
You know what? You cost me tonight, but it's the most interesting thing that's happened all day. So yeah, I suppose we'll see you around.
Till then, stay frosty out there.
You see the girl behind the bar. She gives you a wink and she says, "Not bad."
I'll wave to everybody and head on home.
All right. As you leave, you get out onto the streets, and even though it's late, this area is fairly crowded. And when you look, you have to do a double take, because you see, kind of walking through the crowd, you see someone that you recognize. And I don't know if you gave me a name for this person, but it is your old superior who has gone missing. Your old superior when you worked in Eternal Affairs before you got transferred to be the Blade Runners.
What? I
What
was
do you
worried
do?
he was killed. I'm gonna spin around and try to find him.
All right. You chase through the crowd. You have to push through some people. Please give me another force roll, as like all of a sudden it's like time almost slows down for you, and it feels like there's so many people here. You're like at a concert just trying to force your way through this sea of bodies. What did you get?
I got 1 success.
1 success. Okay. So you manage to push through this group, and you kind of get to an opening, like a town square or a big corner. You look around because you think you've lost him, and then you see you're behind him. His back is to you. You see him, and he goes up to like one of the newsstand dispenser things where you get like a newspaper, and he's obviously picking up a copy. He doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Okay. I'll kind of calmly walk up to him and ask, is that you, Nathan?
And do you grab him or anything, or you just say that and kind of walk closer?
I don't grab him, no.
Okay. He eventually stands up after he gets the paper out, and as he does, he turns and he says, sorry, what'd you say? And when he turns around, you realize it's not Nathan. It's someone that looks a little bit like him.
Oh. Sorry, sir. I thought you were an old friend of mine. You have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. And he tucks the paper under his arm as he does so. And this is going to be an event that is going to cause some stress. So in this game, unlike in Alien, where certain things just make you take stress, in this game, there are different events that will cause you to have to potentially take stress, but it can be more than one. So it could be anywhere from like 1 to 3, or even more, depending what it is. However, in this case, in this game you get to actually roll to try to block some of that. So this is just going to cause 1 point of stress, and you make an insight check. For every success you roll, you reduce the damage of this by 1.
Okay. I could maybe do insight. Let's see. Well, you got 1.
Okay. So it flusters you a little bit. It shocks you. You know, your hope was up and then it was kind of dashed. But you're able to kind of steady yourself, get your breathing under control, and you don't suffer any stress there. And there is one other thing that you see. I just have to find it first. You notice that there is one of the newspapers is kind of like sticking out of the dispenser. It looks like this guy didn't close it properly, or one of the papers got stuck. So there's basically one like kind of half hanging out that you could easily take if you wish.
Sure.
All right.
Paper.
I'm going to give you guys access to this. Today's paper, the Independent Sentinel. I'll share this with everybody here. You want to maybe give our listeners a quick description of what you see here?
Well, we definitely have the big headline: Nexus 9 replicant launch is a resounding success, quote unquote, from the Wallace Corp. We've got an ad for Bob Surplus Bullet Runner for guns and ammo, and a little chess puzzle that I'll look at later once I figure out how to zoom in on this thing.
You have to use the little thing in the corner to make the window bigger in Foundry. That'll kind of make it zoom in.
There we go.
You can actually read the text then.
Crazy.
Yeah. Zoom and enhance.
Enhance. Maybe interesting, this rising star of memory design. Who would the Nexus 9 replicants be without their memories to keep them obedient? This rising star has an unlikely comeback story. This goes on for a while, but name's Lilith Tyrell, setting up business as a contractor for Wallace Corp.
Give me a insight test, please. Or connections.
Those. Oh, got 2.
So you read it, and then you do a double take, and you recognize, when you read the full article here in detail, Lilith Tyrell is the niece of Eldon Tyrell, who was the head of the Tyrell Corporation, the company that originally created replicants. And he was murdered back in 2019 by a group of rogue replicants, a group of Nexus 6s. That is the whole premise and plot of the first film. But you realize, like, oh shit, this is his, like, biological descendant. Furthermore, it goes on to talk about how Lilith, his niece, she inherited the Tyrell Corporation, didn't do too well. She eventually had to sell it off before they became bankrupt, and she disappeared out of public eye for a little while. You also know that around 2022, during the blackout, there was an attempt on her life from the replicant resistant movement, and you're pretty sure she suffered some sort of injury in that. And supposedly a Blade Runner stopped that from killing her, but she was still injured. And once Prohibition was put in place, that was kind of the final nail in the coffin for Tyrell Corporation. They basically went bankrupt. They sold off everything, and Wallace Corporation quietly bought all of their assets for replicant technology. And now it seems, about a decade later, she has emerged back in LA as a key member of the memory design industry. And it seems like she is actually maybe an independent contractor that has done some work for Wallace Corporation.
Okay, very interesting.
And well, you do have a critical success here, so I'll give you one other bit of information. She looks kind of familiar. You see a vague resemblance between her and Leah. Fuck, Leah.
Oh. We have a lot of vague resemblances then. She's the daughter, and we're in a time loop.
We're actually playing the Terminator RPG. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Now, as we end the downtime here, for those of you that participated in downtime, you will, let's see here. Replicants, if you're missing any health, you'll heal 2 points of health for each shift of downtime. Humans heal 1 point of health. I don't think anybody's actually been physically hurt yet. I thought you recovered stress as well.
I think so. Was that in...
All right, I'll tell you what. You guys wanted to have your discussion when you guys finally get to where you're going, Tyler and Kyle, or if you guys want to discuss amongst yourselves what your plans are here, and I'll be right back.
Well, that's quite the discovery. As soon as he said it looks like someone similar, I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna say Leah. No. So we're Silas, we're going to Animal Row, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good run.
So, never mind. I'll wait till we talk again before I talk about theories about. Was her, what was the Tyrell daughter's name? Liv? Did he
Lilith.
say Lilith?
Well,
Lilith.
Do we have You don't have any of the animals with us that you took from Leah's apartment?
No, we'd have like a photo of the butterflies though.
Need something to be able to flash around and ask.
Yeah.
All right.
I took a photo of them.
All right. Not that I mean, that's not like a huge lead that makes sense, but it's something. So why would she come back here to Animal Row? Unless she had a hideout here or knew someone? Boy, I can't wait to see the look on that bitch's face from the Wallace Corporation when she finds out that replicants shot each other.
I'm a big fan of this quarrel you have.
Dude, she started it.
Yeah, she was bricking you guys.
Yeah, she's the worst.
Or Leah, well, that could be a picture of Lilith when she was little, and this Leah might be a replicant made based off her.
Yeah.
And they may have implanted her with Lilith's memories, so that photo might be from a real memory. It might be of Lilith. Might be. It's a theory. A game theory.
Given what we know, it's a pretty sound theory.
Well, I feel gratified at the very least, guys.
Yeah, I think we're on the right path. I think we're making good progress, you know?
If only I didn't try to cut and run. But I have a feeling we wouldn't have caught that dude anyway.
Yeah, he was rolling real well.
He was gonna elude us.
Yeah.
There's more to his story. He's the one part, unless he's just kind of, he's just, not really related aside from the fact that he could be a replicant and a sympathizer, and he, was just in the right or wrong place at the time.
Right.
But I could horribly be wrong about him too. Really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There
and it
could
sounds
definitely
like
be more to his story, but
it sounds like he keeps coming back too. So
I feel like
either like Silas or Hector should check it out at some point, because at least we might be able to get the drop on him, although I look very inspectory. Because
but he, Garrick did too, kind of. He spotted him from the crowd looking at him, so I don't know. He remember he had that weird fascination with cops.
Right. I think we should actually look, because the Blade Runners had to have were probably working on a case, right? We should look to see what case they were working on, and if it somehow is connected to Styles.
You're right. We didn't really look into that. I'm wondering if they were there because of this wasn't the first time the dancers had been hassled by the Kill Magazine people.
Right.
Or Humans First, or whatever, whatever group they are. So I guess I maybe assumed that they were working on that, but no one's ever explicitly said that, so I could be wrong.
All right, so we got a couple more avenues.
I've just been sitting here listening for like the last 2 minutes. It's interesting hearing you guys theorize. It's really cool.
Theorize my revenge against what's her nuts from Wallace.
Yeah, man. You really don't like her, man. I know she gave
me a reason. She gave me a reason not to like her.
You're being like Ben right now with Boniel. You're just being petty. Like she's just doing her job.
Yeah, she's not doing a good job.
No. I'll fucking kill this girl. Fucking teenager! How dare she treats me like shit? I'll fucking kill you.
She's a rich kid, guy. Calm down. It's okay.
Yeah, right. You just threatened a teenage girl. Like, take it down a notch, bro. As you guys are on your way to Anemoid Row, Silas Hallbeck, are you informing? Do you or Johnson inform the chief about what's going down at Kill Magazine now, or are you going to wait till later?
I would probably give him, Silas would give him the rundown of the supposed newspaper headline in case he wanted to pull rank and maybe, I don't know.
All right, so you're going to call him up then on your way?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, you've just dropped off Garrick, so you're in your own spinner by yourself. Violet dropped off Hector, so she's in her own spinner by herself. You guys are heading to Anemoid Row together, or separately, I should say. So you call up Holden, and he answers on his vid phone. You can see that he's still in his office. He looks bedraggled. He looks tired, worn out, exhausted. There's a thick, plume of smoke hanging over the office, getting gently spun around by the ceiling fan that's kind of lazily spinning. And as he clicks on the vid phone, you see he's got his attention somewhere else on his desk, and he turns, over to you. What is it, Hallbeck? This better be good. Haven't heard shit from you guys all day.
Garrick and I just dropped off Garrick. We were coming back from Kill Magazine. Looks like that guy Skylar was at Snake Pit, causing trouble for the dancers. Apparently this guy, Styles, big guy, we're looking into it. He might be a replicant. Went to defend her, and that's when R2 got caught up in it. So, just to let you know, Chief, he's planning on running a headline tomorrow about 2 Blade Runners, one killing the other.
What? I fucking told you guys this morning in the briefing that he was there. fucking replicant. Get your ass back over there. You better make sure that doesn't come out, or Wallace Corp's gonna be all over us.
Silas would sigh. Fine, Chief.
And he just hangs up.
Immediately would Silas would vid to Violet.
Go ahead, Albeck.
I just got off with Holden. I have to go back and make sure that this headline doesn't get out. Meanwhile, I'll have you go to Anemoid Row, see what you can dig up about these butterflies. And about Leah.
All right, sounds good. Well, good luck with that. Let me know if you need help.
Will do.
All right. We're going to stick with Hallbeck here, since he's probably not too far from Kill Magazine. So you turn the spinner around, make your way back there. At this point, by the time you get back, it is closed. But you are assuming that he lives upstairs in that apartment up above. So you can try to get him from there.
Okay. Yeah, is the front open?
No, but there's like a buzzer that would probably go up to to his apartment, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, you buzz it, and eventually, there's no answer, but eventually, if you buzz it a couple times, this better be fucking good.
Inspector Silas Holbach here to see you.
Oh, look who comes crawling back. Oh, he's got, he gives his name this time, too. Well, it's a little late for that, buddy. The fuck do you want?
We got word that there might be trouble heading your way, so I thought I'd come up and talk to you.
Give me a manipulation roll, please.
My worst one. All right.
It's me. I'm the trouble.
Oh boy.
More like, it's me, I'm the trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna push that. I got a bad roll, folks. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
Takes another point of stress. It's gonna be a long night.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I already know your ass is on the line, so unless you got something else, Detective, I really gotta get some sleep. Gotta be all well rested for when I wreck you and your crew tomorrow.
Oh, man. Yeah, Silas would take his hat off and rub his fucking bald head. Look, bud, you got me over your knee, all right? I need to come up and talk to you.
There's a long silence, but eventually you just hear the click, like the buzz, that the door is unlocked.
Silas would open it up and make his way to the door.
All right, so you go back through the main entrance. The office is dark, but you know where the elevator is. You make your way there and make your way up there. When you get out of the elevator, there's a small hallway, and then there's a door at the end of that hallway. And you see that he's standing at the door at the end of this hall. Obviously, the door to his apartment. So he's, kind of there to quote-unquote greet you when you get up there. Since he asked so nicely, talk.
Silas would take his hat off again and start kind of walking forward a bit and say, "Look, I'm not saying you can't print it. at least give me a day or two, and the story might even get juicier.
You see when you say that, he actually like starts to scratch his chin a bit. He's like, "What exactly do you have for me, detective? I mean, how much more juicy can it get?" And he actually like steps, kind of leans back into his office, grabs something, and then when he leans back out, he's got a magazine in his hand and he throws it to you. And it looks like they've already been printed. And I'm going to show you an image here of what it looks. This is it? Yeah, hold on. I'll give you guys all access to this. But he throws you this. If you want to describe to our listeners what you see.
All right. Oh boy. So obviously the magazine's called Kill, so it's in huge ass red letters in all capitals at the top. Kill, massacre on nightclub row, replicant killer on the run. And yeah, looks like there's a spinner in the background. A couple other headlines at the bottom. Heartbreaker pocket-sized unit. Check out the new Ender assault rifle. And yeah, looks like a trashy magazine cover. All the news that's fit to kill.
Still only $10, bro.
Still only.
I was gonna say that's the shocker.
Yeah.
Price feels very non-sci-fi.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? You can beat that? I'm listening.
Look, if it turns out that this Styles guy is involved and he is also a Skinner, then things are gonna blow open. We're gathering evidence right now on what the other two were working on. So, whatever happens, I'd let you know. But you gotta give me a day or two.
Looks like he bites his lower lip for a moment. So you're telling me if I don't put this out tomorrow, that you'll give me some inside bits on this investigation?
Yeah.
And you do realize that if you fuck me, I'm going to fuck you 10 times worse. You realize that, right?
I hear you.
He gives you a big, toothy smile. As long as we're clear on that, detective.
Yeah, Silas would kind of do the half bow and put his hand out with his fedora as if like acknowledging as well.
All right. So, ultimately what happens with all of this is he does not publish the story the next day. However, Garrick, you get a call at some point from Holden either that night or the next morning, and well, you probably dread it when you see there's an incoming call from the chief.
Yeah. I would answer.
Hey there, Sleeping Beauty. How's your day been?
Well, it's just starting, so bet it's about to get worse.
Yeah, you're damn right it's gonna get worse. I told you to fucking play nice, and now I'm getting word that you go waving your dick around over at Kill Magazine, and you can't even identify yourself as a fucking officer? What kind of Blade Runner do you think you are, Garrick?
I showed them my badge, officers. I did what I needed to do.
Shut the fuck up! Don't fuck up again, or it's coming out of your ass. And he slams the thing down, and you're gonna lose a promotion point.
Shit.
Skylar reported you to
Yeah.
him for not giving you his name, or for not giving him your name.
It was worth it.
But he withdrew it from Hallbeck because he actually
Yeah.
gave him his. At least for now, he did. So, All right, well then we will finish it up with our Doxy Violet. You make your way towards Anemoid Row, and it is late in the evening at this point. Some parts of this street are still lit. There's some of these businesses that are still open, but several of them have been closed down. We actually have another map here we can show you guys, if the game would let me change it. There you go. So this is just, this is the street right here on the north side of the map. And then these are a variety of if you go to your journal notes on the left-hand side here and click that, it'll give you all the different pinpoints so you can see what all of these things are. So that lets you see like all these different things. Basically, it's maybe about 2-3 blocks worth of buildings. You see there's like a metro cab, little dispatch center. There's a couple food stands here. There's a burger place. There's a fried rice. These two things here are big old dumpsters. There's a dumpling shop, and then a variety of just little things. There's let's see, we got Crown Noodles, 7-Star Prawns, the Clan Hut, Tobacco and Magazines, Big Queen Chicken, Tasty Noodle, Dragonfly. So you see a lot, like tons and tons of places where there's to get food. And then the ones on the south side of the map here are mostly various stores. And each of these shops looks like they cater to a specific type of animal, or a specific type of creature or theme of creatures. I think there's a reptile shop here in one of these. So, place where you can get a variety of different critters.
So, I pressed the W. It's highlighted, but I don't see like names on anything.
You have to highlight your mouse over each of the cursors on the map.
Aha! Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think there's a way to turn those on permanently, but I don't know how.
It's all right. This makes sense. Yeah, I'll make my way over to the pet section and look for, any sort of insect dealer. And if I don't find something like that, I'll just start asking the shops.
All right, give me a connections roll, please. I'll give you advantage if you're asking some of the shop owners here because they obviously know their neighbors. Ew.
It's not so good.
Got a single success with advantage.
Guess I'll push.
Okay. Oh no.
All right.
All right, you take a point of resolve damage.
All right.
And the few people that you find, looks like they're closing up their shops for the night, or nobody's like answering your questions. And you're kind of just left to wander for a little bit. But eventually, you do see one shop that has a sign that just has a blue butterfly on the sign outside the door. But you can see that the light is currently off, as if the shop is closed up for the night.
Well, that looks like that might be it. I'll take note of where it's at.
It's this one right here. It's called the Aurelian.
The Aurelian? All right. Kind of take note of where it's at, and if everything's kind of closed up for today and there's no one else to talk to, I'm not going to try and break and enter into it today. I'll take a peek into the windows just to see what I see, but...
Okay, so what you do see is just inside the window, there is this countertop that is kind of like the front desk. There's a old chair behind it with a bookshelf near it. And then all along the west wall and like part of the south wall, there are shelves, like actual shelves on the walls, and you see a variety of different jars, and each of these jars contains a variety of different types of anemoid butterflies.
Bingo, I say to myself. Well, I'll kind of report what I find to Hallback. I'll tell him that everything's closed up. A little too late to go here. Have to check back in the morning. But I'll just, I guess, just kind of case the area, see if I see anything else out of place or anything strange about there. Or any
Okay.
telltale signs of, I don't know. I guess I'm just looking for any weird evidence that, could have been dropped there. Anything
right.
that would have alerted me to, Leah having been here.
Are you just looking around? You're not talking or asking anybody? Well, there's people out and around. It's just you can tell most of the shops are closed or closing at this point.
Okay, sorry.
But,
I thought
there's plenty of people especially at the food places, because keep in mind, in Blade Runner, most apartments and homes don't actually have kitchens, and like 95% of people just get their food out at these food shops here because they don't actually have the capacity to cook it, and there's no room in their house to do so. So they just come out to one of these vendors and eat. That's just how most people live nowadays.
All right. I'll walk over to 7 Star Prawns and just pop a squat, and if it's open, just talk to whoever's working there and flash my badge. And
it's a circular booth, and then they've the vendor is inside. Looks like there's 2 people, both kind of cooking. One of them more talking to customers, and just regular chefs. And then there's a bunch of stool seats around the outside, and then it's got like a big awning on top to keep people sitting at the stools mostly out of the rain. Your back might get a little wet, but at least your head is covered and your food's covered. And you see steam rising up from the big boiler they have in the middle. And even though it looks like prawns and it tastes like prawns and it's probably quite good, you know that it's just a protein substitute. It's not a real prawn. Do you actually order food?
No, I do. I take a seat though and try to get their attention, and I.
Oh no, yeah, the lady comes over. What you want?
Hi, miss. I'm Detective Lee with LAPD. Wondering if you recognize this face. This lady traveled through here anytime within the last day. And I'll pop up the file I have on Lee to show her face.
She takes a look and like almost just barely glances at it. She's like, no, I no recognize. I'm real busy. A lot of people come through here. You order or not?
I'll say, well, thanks for your help, miss. And I get up and I'll try the same thing over at Crown Noodles.
Okay. You more or less get the same thing. They kind of try to rush you off when you don't order anything.
Gotcha. Which is the Dragonfly another restaurant?
Let me check. No, that one is an actual insect animoid dealer.
Oh, are they open?
Sure.
All
It's
right.
like they're just getting ready to close it up for the night.
I'll knock and pop my head and say, sorry to bother you folks. I'm Detective Lee. Wondering if you could answer a couple questions for me real quick before you close up.
You see a kid who's probably in his 20s. He's got like a decent suit on. Looks like it doesn't fit him very well, but he's trying to look nice. It looks like this is probably one of the more reputable and nicer shops. And he kind of gives a sigh, like, just closing up, man. Yeah, what did you need?
Wondering if you maybe seen this young lady passing through here last day or so. And I'll show her a picture of Leah.
Give me another connections roll, please.
All right.
Ooh, nothing.
Nothing.
Damn. In a
Dude's
push?
so hot. Nah, I feel like I'll be SOL if I push again.
Come on. All right.
Nah.
He's like, no, I don't recognize her. Sorry.
Yeah, well, if you think of anything, I'll be back around tomorrow. Slide in my card. Be nice to chat again.
He
And
sighs,
I'll
but
throw him I'll
nods.
throw him a little wink and walk out.
Oh, give me a manipulation roll.
There we go.
Successes. He's like he kind of perks up a bit, and he's like, yeah, let me see that photo again.
Well, sure. And I pop it open again on my Kia.
And he's like looking at it, and you can't really tell if he's like faking thinking just because he wants to like hang out with you, or if he's really trying to think. So let me make a roll here. He's like, yeah, actually, yeah, I think I saw her over at the Aurelian's place. I think it was yesterday, actually.
The Aurelian's place.
Yeah, it's that, well, you can't see the sign from over here, but it's across from the prawn place. He sells butterflies and shit.
It's the place that's closed.
Yeah, it's the first
Right.
one you went
Okay.
to. Yep.
Got it. I see. Anything suspicious about her? Did she look hurried or in a rush?
I mean, I only saw her briefly, but, yeah, I kind of recognize the haircut.
So this Aurelian's place sells bugs.
Just,
well as you guys?
just butterflies. That's his specialty. He makes. He's pretty damn good, actually. He makes some of the best out there. And the guy knows everything about butterflies. You know, I think he's even seen a real one. You know, back in the day. He's old, real old guy.
He got a name?
He kind of shrugs like, you know, everyone just calls him the Aurelian.
Works for me. Is he known to have any shady dealings? Or is he pretty reliable guy?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, you know, I've seen all sorts of characters around here. You know, his shop and others. So I couldn't say for sure. I mean, look where we are, and he kind of like waves his hand around. He's like, you know, people got to eat, man. So they, you know, might deal with some unsavory types here and there, but he's harmless enough. And the guy can't even see. He's blind as a bat.
Interesting. One last one. You ever see a real tall guy, bald, skinny? Would look out of place.
He's like, oh yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, I've seen him at the Aurelians every now and then.
Goes by the name of Styles. Know anything about him?
I never caught his name, but yeah, usually like wearing a hoodie. Real pale looking guy.
Yeah. He ever buy
Yeah.
anything from the Aurelian?
He could have. I mean, he might have bought something small. But I definitely have seen someone who sounds like that. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's a friend of his or something, or maybe an employee. I mean,
You ever see him with this young lady?
nah. I only saw her once. That was a day or two ago.
I appreciate your cooperation. Been very helpful, young man. And I'll leave you to lock up.
Ticket, high or low?
Let's go high.
Good choice. He says, "Oh, you know, one other thing. I don't know if it'll help, but there are like Esper cameras and stuff around here. I figure, you know, if you got a badge, maybe you can access something that might help. Although if you're looking for something from yesterday, you might want to get on that soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Started to throw in a laugh from outer space, but that's exactly what I was thinking as well.
And then you look around and you do see a couple, you see one or two cameras on a street pole or something like that overlook the area.
Well, shoot. Sounds like a great idea, young man.
And he kind of gives you a wink back, like he's being all smooth. He's like, gets a little more confidence, and he goes, I'll talk to you later. And he looks at your card. He's like, Violet. And he gives you a wink.
See you around. See you around, stud. And I'm gonna get on my Kia. And sorry, I forget who was using the Espers at first. Who had the best?
That was
That was
Hector.
Matt, right?
Yep.
Hector, yeah.
That's right. I'll get Hector on the phone. Say like, well, did some digging around here. Might be worth it to check the Espers if we haven't. Sounds like I may have found where she got the bugs from. And guess what? Our guy was seen here too.
Well, no one seems to care, so fuck him. I guess you're the only detective on the case.
I guess.
Hey guys, I got to
You
break in
what?
the case. No response.
Oh, I guess he might be sleeping. To be fair,
You know what?
Middle.
I'm in the middle of an arm wrestling competition.
That's
Right.
true. That's
And my
true.
guy,
Oh, well, I guess
just
call
dropped.
me when you're not doing something so important.
It's okay, I only need one arm. The other can activate the Kia. But I don't have any extras for computer hacking.
I'm out here suffering stress in the rain, and you can't even bother me with an answer, you dicks. All right, is there anything else you'd like to do out
Sorry.
here, Violet?
Time is weird. with
For
the-
right now, I'm gonna come back in the morning and check in with the Cerulean guy. But seeing as things are closing up, I think I got what I needed to for right now, and we'll probably just follow up on the cameras.
Okay. Well, you do take another point of stress for working an extra shift here. How you doing? You're not at 0, are you?
I only took 2. One
Okay.
from the push and one from just this recent one.
All right. Okay then. Well, I assume you have more than 2. So, in that case, you are okay, and that is going to end our 4th shift and the end of the first day. So that is where we will call it for tonight. As sorry we played a little bit shorter tonight, folks, but we had some housekeeping to do beforehand. So I think you guys have made some good leads here. Everybody's working together, and now 2 of our characters are exhausted and ready to fall over from all the hard work they're doing. So be sure to stop by next week, folks, as we dive into session 3. We'll see if that's going to be the last session or not. I don't know. We could go for a 4th. We'll see. We'll see how things pan out here. But hopefully, so far, you're enjoying our little delve here into Los Angeles. So thank you all so much for stopping by. Hope you've had a good time. I have had a great time. Thank you so much, players, for playing along. And we will see you all on the flip side. Same time, same place. Nighty nights.